Beautiful Bavaria, and the city of Munich welcomes you to the 2022 European Championships, the second of their kind. A multi-sport competition hosting athletics, beach volleyball, canoe sprint, cycling, rowing, sport climbing, table tennis, triathlon, and of course in the Olympiahalle, in the Olympic Park, artistic gymnastics, the European Women's Artistic Gymnastics Championships. And this is apparatus finals on this beautiful sunny Sunday in the verdant settings of Munich, Bavaria. The Olympiahalle is your home. Once a name is added to the halls of the immortals, then forever it remains. Think of the names that have been in this place. Think of the footsteps along the corridors. Immortality echoes off the walls. Legends created in this very building. And perhaps not just in 1972, perhaps not just at those famous Olympic Games, perhaps this very weekend, perhaps these very championships, perhaps at the junior competition. Names that we will talk about for generations. And what of today? Apparatus Finals Day. That's what. 4 medal events coming up over the next couple of hours for your entertainment, for your enjoyment. It's a great pleasure to have your company wherever in the world you're watching the action from. Ollie Hochben here, and joining me is Blythe Lawrence. Blythe, what a day this is going to be.
Ollie, it is the best kind of competition, one where even after 2 days of seeing what everyone is doing, we can't really project who is going to be on the podiums because, well, quite frankly, everyone is capable of making it. What we do know is that the quality of gymnastics at this European Championship has been incredibly high, and not much has separated the top 5 or 6 qualifiers on several of the apparatus that we are about to see. And many of the gymnasts in this field, it's worth noting, also have the potential to record historic finishes for their nation, and we get to sit back and watch it all unfold.
It's a treat, isn't it? I hope you're enjoying your weekend wherever in the world you call home. You are warmly invited, warmly being the operative word, because it's a scorcher of a day at the Olympic Park in Munich. And this is the final day of the women's competition, a competition that has one word at the heart of it: Italy. They've won both of the senior events, the team title, and they also won the all-around competition. But they've also won a medal in every single junior competition too. Now just take stock of that. Their team won gold, they won all-around bronze. We'll come back to it later. It's been a brilliant competition for them. This is the start list for the women's vault final here in Munich. The top performer in the preliminary round, Zofia Kovac of Hungary. She really looked impressive. She's the European champion from 2020. The women's uneven bars final will follow with the top qualifier, Alice De Marto of Italy. She might even have more difficulty if the warm-up's anything to go by to come in this uneven bars final. The balance beam sees Ana Barbosu of Romania as the top performer in qualification. Romania, the best ever nation on beam in the history of the European Championships of Artistic Gymnastics. 43 medals they've won on this apparatus. And the floor final will be the last one, with the first gymnast to go, Martina Maggio of Italy, the strongest in qualification. We should preface all of this by saying that, as Blythe mentioned, in a lot of the finals there was very little daylight between many of the qualifiers. For example, in this vault competition, 2/10 separated the top 5 gymnasts after qualification, with less than 1/10 separating second through to 5th. That is effectively one step, one movement on landing, separating second right down to 5th place after qualification. So, take all of the data, scrutinize it, screw it all up in bits of paper and throw it into the air and let it rain down, because it ultimately could account for very little once the final gets underway. And we never know who might throw a few upgrades here and there. Let's start by welcoming the runners and riders. Here are your contenders for Vault glory on the European stage. France's Aline Fries, fourth strongest in qualification, Vault champion in her World Cup debut earlier this year. France has a very good record with Vault competitions at the European Championships. Representing Israel, Lihi Radz, the first ever Israeli woman to win a medal at the European Championships when she took floor bronze in 2020. She is also the Israeli vault champion. Asia D'Amato turns up and wins stuff. Team and all-around champion. She's having an amazing competition. She's also the reigning Mediterranean Games vault champion, won earlier this year in Algeria. The Olympian won the junior title at the European Championships in Glasgow. Great Britain's Jessica Gadirova, silver medalist at the European Championships last year, part of a buoyant British team. Bulgaria's Valentina Georgieva, silver medalist at the Junior European Championships in 2020 and a World Cup champion from Osijek on vault earlier this year. Well, frankly, she needs no introduction as a vaulter, but we're going to do it anyway. Zofia Kovac, the European champion from 2020 and the top performer in qualification. History written on the walls of the Olympiahalle as Camilla Rasmussen of Denmark makes it into a European Championship final. She's the reigning Nordic vault champion. She's a very good vaulter. Lisa Valen of Belgium has a wonderful, very difficult first vault that propelled her to 5th place in the all-around competition. That's not a bad looking final, that. Very interesting, and as mentioned earlier, just 2/10 separated the top two performers after qualification. So the new system of warm-ups that was brought in recently will be in operation. We'll see the gymnasts going in 2 staggered warm-ups. The first 4 will warm up, then compete. The next 4 will warm up, then compete. The crowd's pretty warmed up though, courtesy of the gymnasts themselves. It's a lovely atmosphere in the Olympiahalle.
And our first medal event at the Apparatus Finals for the seniors.
Look at that, what a beautiful space. And what a beautiful final we could have. We've got some lovely execution to come in this vault competition. That's your start list on the left of your screen with Zofia Kovac, the top performer in qualification. That's the general overview, but now my colleague Blythe Lawrence will give you the devil in the detail of this, and it could well come down to that.
One thing to look at is the first competitor, Aline Fries of France, and the last competitor, Lisa Valen of Belgium. As you mentioned, Ollie, they will do the hardest first vaults that we will see in the competition. The handspring Rudy, named for Oksana Chusovina, both of them do it very well. A handspring Rudy, handspring front layout with 1.5 twists. Valued at 5.4 in the difficulty table. Everybody else has a first vault that starts from 5.0. Normally it's a double twisting Yurchenko, also very difficult. So it's one of the reasons why it's hard for us to make any real predictions.
Absolutely right. And what is interesting is looking at the second vaults of Fries and Valen. They have, based on qualification, a 4.4 difficulty. Now, if we go to the middle of the final, Asia D'Amato and Jessica Gadirova, we expect them to be entering a 0.4 lower difficulty for the first vault, but a 0.4 higher difficulty for the second vault. So that makes it much of a muchness in terms of the start values.
It could come down to the very little things. Often we're asked, well, how do you judge vault? It happens so quickly. How do the judges find execution errors? And actually, there are 4 phases to every vault. There's what they call the pre-flight, which is everything that happens before a gymnast's hands touch the table. There's the repulsion phase, which is what happens as the hands touch the table. What they call the second flight, the flips and twists off of it, as demonstrated amply there by Aline Fries. And finally, the landing. So the judges have to be quick, but they are very attentive. They're looking for things like bent knees, they're looking for amplitude, bent arms in the repulsion phase, and of course, the landing.
And now we have the small matter of the final itself to come, because it's so easy, and we do it in all sports. We play out finals before they've happened. And that's part of the role of broadcasters, of journalists, of fans, is to look at the data, is to enjoy supposition and guesswork. And very often, it's more than guesswork, it's complex analysis that really does turn into what happens in the final. But every so often, real surprises come along.
You never know what you might see in a final like this. We saw it from Alice D'Amato on uneven bars in the warm-up, for example, upgrading her dismount. And you're right, you never know. This is the place where gymnasts often throw things that are harder, what they've been working on in the gym, bringing them out in the apparatus final.
And we should say, we didn't see all of the gymnasts actually out training or warming up on vault in the arena itself. Some gymnasts chose to stay in the warm-up hall and keep their cards close to their chest, perhaps.
Everybody does it their own way. The 2 that we did not see warm up were Jessica Gadirova and Camille Rasmussen.
But we've seen plenty of Jessica Gadirova at these European Championships, a team silver medal. And we've seen plenty of Great Britain on the vault podium at the European Championships. 4 out of the last 6 European vault finals in women's competition have seen a British gymnast on the podium, including the one we're looking at now.
And indeed, it doesn't really mean anything if during the warm-up period the gymnast chooses just to stay in the practice gym. She does have the warm-up period that she gets right before competing. The gymnast will be able to do 3 vaults practicing in apparatus finals.
We start into this final.
It is time to begin the vault final in the Women's Artistic Gymnastics European Championships. Will it be more Italian domination? Will a new nation take the title? Let's begin with Aline Fries of France, the Olympian from Tokyo, and yet a European Championship debutant. She's already won World Cup vault gold this year. First vault, very difficult.
Very well done. First vault, just as we expected. Handspring Rudy. Rotation all the way around. Body position, fairly good throughout. And just a small hop on the landing. She does a very nice job of staying extended. And it's only right towards the end that she pikes down a bit. The legs are basically straight. And she keeps it within those 3 tram lines, so she is going to avoid an extra deduction for going outside of the lines.
Now, in qualification, this vault scored her 14.333, or rather the vault you've just seen scored her 14.333. Very high number compared to the 12.9, I should say, for the second vault. So a 13.616 average in qualification. She was the 4th strongest. 13.966, the score for the vaults. So she's down by around a few tenths in qualification. Second vault for Aline Fries. This carried a 4.4 difficulty in qualification. Wasn't as well executed either.
We anticipate a Sukahara layout full. And that is indeed what we get.
Well, that's a very strong start by Aline Fries in this vault final. It'll be interesting to look at the execution score for that second vault. It may well be that she perhaps gains something that she lost on the first vault in execution.
Quite possibly. When it comes to the body position that she shows on the Suk layout full, it's much better. She's more extended throughout, and she keeps her legs straighter. That said, this has a difficulty of an entire point less than what she demonstrated on her first vault. So it wouldn't be a shock to see the execution score go up, but the difficulty score go down.
It's a very well administered vault, that by the 18-year-old. So 13.233 for a 13.599 average. She did exactly as we thought she might do, which is gain much of what she lost in the first vault. She's down by just under a tenth from qualification. It's a solid start from Aline Fries. 18-year-old Lihi Radz from Israel. She's just won the vault title at the Maccabiah Games, along with every other title at the Maccabiah Games. A big event that took place in Israel. And she's the first ever woman to win a European Championship medal for her country, a bronze on floor in 2020. 8th strongest in qualification.
This should be a double twist in Yurchenko.
Tricky landing for Lihi Radz, I should say, in the double twisting. Yurchenko did well to stabilize herself and get back to a level playing field as quickly as she could, but there certainly will be a substantial execution deduction.
The main problem with this vault is her lack of amplitude pushing off the table in the repulsion phase. Right there, she doesn't get a whole lot of height, and so it's hard for her to complete the twist and go for a really good landing. Unfortunately, what we see is the bent body position, the chest quite low to the ground, and a very sizable step off to the side. That will probably cost her 0.5 of a point for the step, and then because she went outside the white tram line with 1 foot, an extra 10th penalty.
One might say, especially looking at it from that position, that she's saved herself a few tenths, certainly, as she could very easily have taken a full mark for a fall. 13.333 is the score.
Compared to what she did on that first vault in warm-up, that was a significant improvement.
Now, the second vault was a 4.4 difficulty in qualification. It was the stronger of the two vaults in execution. She's been so terrific at home recently, winning 2 all-around titles in a row and that Maccabiah Games performance. Similar issue, but on the other side this time for Lihi Radz, so the penalties will accumulate. But once again, we have to say huge congratulations to Lihi Radz on her brilliant, dominant display at the Maccabiah Games. It's a very prestigious event for gymnasts from her country. And she's done well to be in this final. History maker at the European Championships in 2020.
She is quite obviously back, full steam ahead towards Paris, training 2 vaults and showing up, doing well in a European vault final. Yes, indeed, there are some problems with the mechanics of this vault, notably the landing going so far to the side. But this is a starting place for her.
13.333 for the first, was down by almost 0.2 from qualification. 12.7 is the score for the second vault. And that leads to an average of 13.016. So for Hihirads, she is down just slightly from qualification, case for both of the finalists that we've seen so far. Well then, what a performer at these championships. Asia D'Amato, team and all-around gold. And she's the third strongest qualifier for this particular final, the vault champion at the Mediterranean Games. That will do, won't it, as a start?
Once again, a beautiful double twisting Yurchenko. Just amazing pop off the table, the height, the amplitude, it's all there.
She has got lovely technique as a gymnast.
She always has, but at this competition, there has been something extra. She has really come into her own.
Yes, there's salt and pepper been added to everything that she does. The toe point as she vaults, the heels together. She is really quite impeccable at the moment.
Great control. If I'm really nitpicky, I'd like to see her left leg a bit more locked out in the twist, and of course, the small hop. But that is a small issue, the landing, 1/10 of a point.
But as you say, that small issue, it came down to small issues in qualification, didn't it?
That it did.
14.1 is the score, and that is way up from qualification. 9.1 for execution. She's gained around 3/10. Now the second vault was a 4.8 difficulty score in qualification, 13.6. So we have here a gymnast who, if this goes according to plan, is poised to take the lead and to set quite a challenging mark for the rest of the pack. Well, she... oh, goodness. Oh, no. Well, she's doing exactly the right thing just by staying where she is for a moment, but clearly that did not feel at all right for Asia D'Amato the second that she landed. Well, the young Italian had to really step forward heavily as she completed the vault, and immediately has felt some real discomfort. Your heart absolutely breaks for Asia D'Amato right now. She needs to be very carefully helped from the field of play here. They've got to avoid any weight going down on that foot at all. And naturally she will have medical assessment now. It is not remotely how anyone could ever wish to see any gymnast depart a final. Poor Asia D'Amato.
It's what you never, ever want to see in a gymnastics competition. She was obviously very short on the landing.
And she's very compressed, isn't she, on that foot? It bends at a not pleasant angle at all. Whatever we see further of Asia D'Amato at these European Championships, as the score comes in of 13.333, it feels almost barbaric to be reading out numbers right now, because it's not remotely the principal concern as she goes into the lead. Whatever the future at these championships holds for Asia D'Amato, we will remember not that sight. We'll remember the sight of her on the podium taking 2 gold medals, and we wish her nothing but the best. Now, Jessica Gadirova of Great Britain, the last to go in the first half of this vault final, and the silver medalist from last year. She does get real amplitude, doesn't she?
tremendous height on this double twisting Yurchenko. Just gorgeous in the air as well.
Jessica Gadirova was the second strongest performer in qualification.
Wonderful repulsion off the table and such a good position in the twist. There's no crossing of her legs. She does get a bit of twist in the repulsion phase. As she pushes off the table, you see that her shoulders are a bit out of alignment. The judges will see that and likely take a small deduction for it. And then for a hop like that, which is more than shoulder width, she will probably lose 0.3 of a point in execution.
It's 14.066. That is 0.2 better than in qualification. Her execution a little stronger. Now to the second vault for Jessica Gadirova. This is where she has room to improve upon her score. 13.533 in qualification with an 8.733 execution. She's the reigning British champion on vault. Very interesting from Jessica Gadirova of Great Britain. Now, we're seeing an identical difficulty score to Asia D'Amato across the two vaults.
Yes, they both did the same two vaults. Jessica Gadirova's second vault, what we saw from Asia D'Amato for her second vault. There's a lot of things going on. Round off onto the board, a half turn onto the horse, a front layout with a half twist off. She spots the landing. Very nice control on this second attempt from her. Once again, she's quite piked as she comes down and her chest is a bit low, but just a little hop forward. Very poised effort.
Well, certainly this is going to do very well in terms of the overall leaderboard. Great Britain's Jessica Gadirova, as mentioned before, silver medalist at the last competition in Basel last year. Leading the way, Asia D'Amato, who regrettably has had to be led from the competition floor with an obvious injury. Then Aline Fries, then Ligi Ratz. Jessica Gadirova, parents Natig and Diona from Azerbaijan. They moved to the United Kingdom for work. Mother had to travel via Dublin. She had the twins en route, which is why the Gadirovas were born in the Irish capital. And right now, she's studying a diploma in sports management. 12.8 is the score, 4.2 difficulty. And you alluded to that.
The difficulty score is likely because she was so piked on the second flight of that vault. She wanted to be laid out, and if she had been, if the judges had credited her with that, the difficulty score would be a bit higher.
Jessica Gadirova in third position. Now, the warm-ups taking place for the next group of gymnasts. We have to come Valentina Georgieva, Zofia Kovac, Camille Rasmussen and Lisa Velin. Well, undoubtedly, there has been a muting of the atmosphere in the arena after we witnessed Asia D'Amato fall to the ground injured and had to be helped from the field of play. We have to say, what extraordinary composure from the young athlete to stay motionless, to do exactly the right thing and to wait for assistance to come along. I'm always astonished at how athletes in obvious great pain can still have the cleanness of thought to do something like that. Well, to a gymnast who's a real contender, Valentina Georgieva of Bulgaria. 6th best in the preliminary round. She won a World Cup title in Osijek earlier this season. And that reversed a trend for her, a trend where she had been a high qualifier but had struggled in finals. Let's hope it continues here.
This is a new vault for her.
Oh, that's regrettable, and another gymnast who is feeling real pain as she lands. Valentina Georgieva of Bulgaria. Oh, goodness. Only 16, the young athlete from Sofia. And again, she is receiving treatment, and that will take as long as it needs to take. The athlete mustn't be moved until it's safe to move them. Very promptly she's over receiving consultation. And for all of these gymnasts, the season is really becoming very busy. The World Championships are coming up. They want to be naturally, all athletes always want to be in the finest condition, but particularly with the World Championships coming. We are deliberately assuming this view of the field of play because it would be indecorous to show from a close-up position an athlete in an injured state, and absolute credit to our director for doing completely the right thing there. I can tell you that Valentina Georgieva is receiving medical treatment at the moment and is just being secured for a safe departure from the competition floor. And I know that whoever you're supporting, wherever you're watching from, however long you've been watching this sport, however well you know these athletes, you'll join with us all in wishing nothing but the absolute finest for both Azia D'Amato and Valentina Georgieva, who've picked up injuries in this vault final. The score is in for Georgieva. It doesn't matter. What matters is that she's okay. It's the only concern right now. And if you've just switched on your television to watch the European Artistic Gymnastics Championships here in Munich, I'm sorry to have to report to you that we have an injured gymnast. Looked like a knee problem as Valentina Georgieva landed. Coming out of, as you said, Blythe, a new vault for her.
She has been competing the Yurchenko with 1.5 twists on the World Cup circuit this spring. And as you alluded, she often did very well in qualification. In fact, at her first 2 World Cup events of the year, she was the top qualifier out of the qualification, and then had some trouble in finals. And finally, at her 3rd World Cup event in Osijek, she came out and won it. And it was a tremendous moment for her and for Bulgarian gymnastics. Here, she attempted the upgrade. The first time that she'd done it in competition was in the qualification round, and it did go well, the double twisting Yurchenko. But it's a hard vault. It's a very hard vault. And we've just seen why it has the difficulty rating that it does.
And it's a very hard sight as well to witness a very promising, exciting young gymnast injured. Very difficult for the other competitors as well. The clearness of head that's required when you've seen what's gone before. For those still to come, Zsofia Kovac, Camille Rasmussen, Lisa Valen. Crowd have been wonderfully supportive, very respectful. Well, at the moment it is Azia D'Amato who leads in the vault final. Then Aline Friis, then Jessica Gadirova, and we will resume the action as soon as it is safe and correct to resume the action. And all that matters now, all that matters is that Valentina Georgieva be safely escorted from the competition floor with something like what looked to be a problem with her knee, and that's mere extrapolation of what we saw, not any attempt to diagnose what has happened. Then naturally the athlete has got to be secured very carefully on a stretcher so that they can be led off the field of play, and it takes time to do that correctly, and it's worth taking time to do that correctly. So we will resume the competition when full medical protocols are being followed. Very, very concerned spectators watching on. It's very easy in a situation like this, if you're in the crowd, to, strange as it sounds, almost miss something like that happening. You need only look away for a moment in a vault final and you don't see why it is the athlete is in such pain. Those who were watching and had their eyes completely glued to it knew straight away that all was not well. Once again, this young athlete has been incredibly composed. And you don't need to be composed in a situation like this. It's not a requirement that an athlete accept an injury stoically. This is not the way that one judges the character of an athlete. This is clearly extraordinarily uncomfortable for her, and she's been remarkably calm as the medical team have come and done what they've had to do.
There's been a lovely effort from the officials and volunteers as well here to cover the area around the vault at the moment, give her some privacy, let the medical teams do what they need to do to secure her and to be able to move her so that she can undergo further treatment.
Absolutely. That's a really important point, Blythe, and we should say at this point an enormous thank you to all of the volunteers at this competition. The way they are conducting themselves now, making sure that the dignity of this young gymnast is preserved, is really in keeping with how they've conducted themselves throughout the entire competition. Thank you, all of you that have volunteered here. You've discharged your duties magnificently at these European Championships. And we can't and won't comment on the severity of the injury. That's only something that the gymnast herself and the medical professionals involved can do, and the national governing bodies, they will communicate that in due course, and they'll communicate it when it's right to communicate it, and Valentina Georgieva needs to be at the heart of that. All one must say in a situation like this is that very often the amount of time it takes for a gymnast or any athlete to be led off the field of play is not necessarily an indication of the severity of the injury, but simply the correctness of the protocols that are being performed. The last thing one ever wants to see is an athlete quickly, when they've been injured, quickly ushered off the competition floor in a way that's unsafe to them. So once again, if you're just joining the coverage now, it's with real sadness that we have to tell you that Valentina Georgieva, the young Bulgarian vaulter, has been injured attempting her first vault. She is at the moment being secured for departure from the competition floor safely by the medical professionals who are right there and assessing the situation.
again, we are extrapolating based on what we saw, but the indication early on is that it is a leg injury, potentially, although we are unclear on that.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's safe to say. All we can say is, I'm sure it's the same for you watching it, we can say what we saw and what it looked like. She did seem to clutch her knee as she landed. And as I said, we will resume the competition when it is safe for Valentina Georgieva to resume the competition. There's only one priority right now, and it is the injured gymnast.
The health of the athletes must take priority over everything else.
Once again, well done to all of the medical professionals. So we will resume the coverage as soon as the vault landing area has been deemed fit for the resumption of competition. And we're not discussing at this stage things like the score for Valentina Georgieva, because it is a trifling matter. It's an inconsequential thing. It is her well-being that is of paramount importance. And absolutely her peers concerned as well. I think that rather sums up the mood on the field of play. These are gymnasts who compete together a great deal, and yes, they're trying to beat each other, but they're trying to beat each other well. They're trying to beat each other in the spirit of fair competition, and that's one of the great things about the wonderful sport of artistic gymnastics. And if you'll permit me to speak for the gymnasts, which I try to avoid doing, I think it's safe to say that they never wish to see a competition determined by an injury to another competitor.
Absolutely never. They are all very aware and have said so, how hard the gymnastics that all of them do is, and they cheer for each other. There's been so much international camaraderie, gymnasts congratulating each other, giving hugs and, you know, well wishes throughout this week. Doesn't matter what flag is on the sleeve of the leotard, not at all. There's been a wonderful feeling.
And that wonderful feeling will resume, because sport has this funny way of lifting people. It somehow always manages to find a way through. But for the moment, the focus of attention is very much on the well-being of Valentina Georgieva. Should say as well that earlier on, Azir D'Amato also picked up an injury. So there is a somber feel to this vault final. Now it does appear that Valentina Georgieva has been moved off of the landing area. Now they're just working on safely escorting her off the field of play. Once again, what we can report is as she landed her first vault, she clutched her knee and fell backwards. So that is what appears to be at the heart of the problem.
She did seem to be slightly under-rotated on the twist of the double twisting Yurchenko, the last quarter turn, as she came down, took a bound backwards. And then, as you said, it appeared that there was something wrong with the leg.
Coaches are really important at a time like this as well, in having a quiet word with the gymnast, or knowing when not to have a quiet word with the gymnast. All of these athletes have had a long delay. Some of them have wanted a bit of company during that time. Others have just wanted to be in their own place. If you're a good coach, you know your athlete well and you understand what they need during a situation like this. So Valentina Georgieva, to rich applause from the Munich faithful, is being led out of the arena for medical assessment on that injury, and really well done to the medical staff and to the volunteers involved in making that not just a safe but a very dignified process for a wonderful young gymnast. And let's all of us just for a moment wish nothing but the very best for Valentina Georgieva, as we did for Asia D'Amato. So the competition, it seems, is shortly to resume. And thank you very much, all of you watching, for your great patience in staying with us as the vault final takes place here in Munich.
And it appears from what we're seeing that the three gymnasts left to perform, Sofia Kovac, Camille Rasmussen, and Lisa Valen of Belgium, will have the opportunity to take a couple of warm-up turns again, and that is entirely appropriate given how long they have had to wait.
Yes, a suitable decision by the competition organisers to allow the gymnasts a chance to just steady themselves once again. So we take a breath and resume in just a moment this women's vault final. Asia D'Amato, Aline Fries, Jessica Gadirova leading the way. Lili Vads and Valentina Georgieva have also taken part in the competition. We have to go Sofia Kovac, Camille Rasmussen and Lisa Valen. So we will know after the next gymnast has completed their two vaults, one of the medalists. Will it be her? She's won the European title before, in 2020 in Mersin, where she also won the uneven bars title. Sofia Kovac, safe to say she's had an uneven European Championships. There's no doubt that when she is in full form and in full flow, she's one of the finest all-around gymnasts in the world. And indeed, one of the finest apparatus specialists in the world. Very few can lay claim to that. It's just a matter, isn't it, of stringing everything together at exactly the right time.
That's exactly it. She has had moments of brilliance this week, including on floor exercise. We will see her in the floor final later on, and on vault, where she is just second to none when it comes to her first vault, especially the double twisting Yurchenko in qualification. She was the only gymnast to do that vault and have an execution score higher than 9.0.
And let's take a moment as well as we look at the warm-up of the impressive young Belgian Lisa Valen to reflect upon her all-around performance. 5th place finish for her. Wasn't that superb?
It was exceptional, and it bodes very well for the future of both Lisa Valen and the Belgian team.
The medals will be decided in just a moment or two. Zsofia Kovács of Hungary is the next gymnast to vault. The top performer in the qualification round, 13.816. The leading mark at the moment is 13.716. That's a single tenth gap between reality and the past results in qualification for Zsofia Kovács. He's had some good results this season on vault. Let's see what happens. Well, that is quite some start for Zsofia Kovács. What a calm piece of vaulting.
A lovely double twisting Yurchenko. This is what she's shown on this apparatus all week and long before that. Great push off the table. Very tight twist, quite clean. She doesn't twist off the table. Spots the landing. And just that small hop.
Her toe point in flight is very precise for the most part. The score 14.2. .9.2 execution score. So that is the best executed vault that we have seen so far. Second vault for Zsofia Kovács, 13.566 in qualification. This is going to be very intriguing. Zsofia Kovács has delivered quite some performance there. She's going to be reliant on a high degree of execution when one looks at the difficulty of some of the other competitors, but she might have just delivered that.
It's a very smart choice for a second vault, and the reason is because the handspring front layout half, which she makes look completely easy, is out of 4.6. A lot of the other competitors had second vaults out of 4.4. So she does this beautifully. Wonderful position, height, block, everything you could ask for. And she's also got 2/10 on some of the other gymnasts in this field. Really textbook vaulting.
Yes, if the last vault was well executed, that one was also superbly executed. Very fine work from Zsofia Kovács, the 22-year-old from Dunaújváros. Her score is 13.666. And that is a 13.933 to put her into the gold medal position and to guarantee her a medal with 2 to go. Well done to Zsofia Kovács, once again a European Championship medalist. And that's going to really take some beating. We have got one gymnast to come who's got a very high difficulty score, though. Now a glass raised, many glasses raised across Denmark for Camille Rasmussen, the 17-year-old from Copenhagen, who's been breaking barriers this season. Here she is in the European vault final, and she's done well. Considering the magnitude of that occasion, that's a good first vault from Camille Rasmussen.
The only Danish gymnast in recent memory to attempt a double twisting Yurchenko on vault. It is groundbreaking for her and for her country.
She's the reigning Nordic champion on vault, and she won her first medal at the World Cups this season.
She really turned a lot of heads when she debuted this at the World Cup.
Now, execution-wise, there will be some clear deductions.
Yes, indeed. There's a small leg separation, some flexed feet, quite absorbed and compressed on the landing, and of course the rather sizable step back. See the legs coming apart at the beginning of the second flight. Her ankles are never really quite together.
She's been the reigning national champion for 5 years. 13.766, the first vault for Rasmussen, an improvement on qualification. Now, can she get really stellar execution on this second vault with a 4.4 difficulty? Can she get this up from the 8.6 in qualification? 13.599 is bronze at the moment. Very well done, Camille Rasmussen of Denmark. Well, she has done so much for the sport with her recent performances. The first ever medal for a Danish woman at World Cup level when she took a silver on vault in Varna earlier this season. Well done, Camille Rasmussen. And well done for being composed in this final.
The second vault, the Sukahara full, as we have already seen once today. She does a quarter turn onto the table and then a layout with a full twist off.
Very comparable, one suspects, to qualification, and indeed exactly the same score. 13 for her, and that's a score of 13.383, and she is in 5th position. But she's done a lot more than 5th place when one looks holistically at the contribution of Camille Rasmussen. What one suspects, an entire generation of Danish gymnasts has just been created from watching that performance. Lisa Valen of Belgium is the last to go. Zsofia Kovac and Asia D'Amato guaranteed medals. What about this young Belgian with a tough first vault?
This has the potential to be huge. Handspring front layout, 1.5.
It might well be huge. That is tremendous from young Lisa Valen, the gymnast who has only just celebrated her 18th birthday. Oh, she's a fine gymnast.
She's actually been doing this vault for more than a year now. She brought it to the Olympic Games and debuted it there, and everybody went, wow, where did that come from? There is some piking in the air, as you see, leg separation and slightly bent legs as well. But the difficulty score, 5.4, that is going to help her cause.
Belgium has never won a vault medal at the European Championships. That's very positive, 14.133, down by less than a tenth from qualification. So now to what in qualification was a 4.4 difficulty vault. If she delivers as she did in qualification, then Lisa Valen will just squeak onto the podium.
13.033, her score for this in qualification.
Well, it's going to be a very interesting wait now, isn't it, after that second vault from Lisa Valen. Well done to her. She's made herself part of the conversation, certainly. It is Zsofia Kovac, Asia D'Amato, Aline Fries, 1, 2, 3 at the moment. It's the last score to come in. She's the reigning Belgian all-around champion. I was going to say she has competed as a guest at the Dutch Nationals and won the all-around there. Everywhere she goes, she seems to turn up and win the national title.
This was a very steady second vault. Once again, the Sukahara with a full twist. There are little things in the execution that the judges will take note of. Again, hiked body position, legs that aren't completely locked out, and of course the step back at the end. We'll see.
It's going to be incredibly close. 13.033, and for Lisa Valen, it is fourth position. But look at this number, 13.583. She just misses out to Aline Fries, who takes the bronze medal. Incredibly close. The silver to Asia D'Amato, but there is, for the second time, your European vault champion, Zsofia Kovács of Hungary. And it is overall the third time in her career that she's been a European champion, to add to her uneven bars title in 2020. She's had a tricky old week, but she's on top of the continent now. You know, from the moment Zsofia Kovács delivered that first vault, there was an extraordinary calmness about her, and one just suspected the deed had been done. European champion Zsofia Kovács. And that means that 3 out of the last 5 European vault champions have been from Hungary. And this is the second European Championships of the multi-sport kind. It was a Hungarian, Boglárka Dévai, who won in 2018. 4 years on, it's another Hungarian, Zsofia Kovács, who takes the gold. Asia D'Amato wins the silver medal, and France's Aline Fries takes the bronze. Commiserations to Lisa Valen, who did so well to almost get onto the podium. Very close, actually, when you look from third right the way down to sixth. That's a marginal vault final. And we just now should wrap up this entire vault final by saying that amidst this great scene of triumph for Zsofia Kovács, we do wish Asia D'Amato and Valentina Georgieva the best in whatever treatment and recovery is necessary following, in the case of Georgieva, her withdrawal partway through the competition, in the case of Asia D'Amato, her having to be helped off the field of play. But this is the moment now for Zsofia Kovács of Hungary. Second time for her to be the European vault champion.
Ja, dauert noch einen kleinen Moment. Und jetzt steht sie bereits. Die Europameisterin, die European Champion, Zsofia Kovács. So, meine Damen und Herren, jetzt haben wir einen Riesenapplaus, big Applaus. New European Champion. Hier ist sie, meine Damen und Herren, Zsofia Kovács.
So there she is, the winner. Let's hear from her.
What are you feeling? Only a little bit. What are you feeling now? It's a little difficult in English.
At least a little bit, yes.
What's she feeling now?
Hogy érzed magadat?
Nagyon jól.
Very well. Very well. Thank you very much. Very well. This is the last day, and for us, this is the trophy.
Oh. Okay. Thank you, Köszönöm. Köszönöm Setan heißt Dankeschön für die Vorstellung von allen. Applaus for you, Köszönöm Setan. Zsofia Kovács.
Hugely well done to Zsofia Kovács. Once again, those standings in the women's vault competition. Zsofia Kovács, the champion. Asia D'Amato, the silver medal. Aline Fries, winner of the bronze. And I must make an apology to the entire nation of Belgium because I've robbed Agia van Wallichem, the bronze medalist on vault in 2005, of her accolade when I said that Lisa Velen was potentially the first Belgian medalist on vault at the European Championships. Sincere apologies there for forgetting a wonderful gymnast and running the risk of erasing her page of history in one of the most historic of all gymnastics venues. So let's have a look back at how the medals were decided.
Ceremony for the women's artistic gymnastics was Sprung der Frauen.
The victory ceremony for the women's vault competition at the 2022 European Championships of Artistic Gymnastics, taking place in the Olympiahalle in Munich.
The medals will be presented by. Die Medaillen werden überreicht von Irene Abel, Silbermedaillengewinnerin, Olympische Spiele 1972. Veit Gaibov, President von European Gymnastics. Und Anka Michalescu-Grigoras, Women's Technical Committee President von European Gymnastics.
What a privilege to have Irina Abel, a silver medalist at the Olympics in this arena in the team competition in 1972.
Für Frankreich,
part of the presentation
Aline
party.
Fries.
Aline Fries of France, the bronze medalist. A European Championship debut for her, and she has taken a medal. Great display, the fourth strongest in qualification.
Silver medalist, Italy. Gewinnerin der Silbermedaille für Italien, Asia D'Amato.
Asia D'Amato of Italy receiving her medal in absentia. We wish her nothing but the absolute best in her recovery from whatever the nature of her injury is. But Asia D'Amato adding to her collection. Zsofia Kovács of Hungary is a European champion once again, the second time that she's won the vault title. It comes just 2 years after she won 2 gold medals, vault and uneven bars, at the European Championships in Mersin. Well, here in Munich, she's immersing herself once again in the feeling of standing in the central position on the podium. There is your European vault champion, and we'll hear the national anthem of Hungary.
Die Nationalhymne von Ungarn.
Hymnush, the national anthem of Hungary, composed in 1845 and played for the third time at the European Championships in honour of Zsofia Kovács. She's joined by her fellow medalists in the women's vault competition at the Artistic Gymnastics European Championships in Absentia. Asia D'Amato would be joined by Aline Vries and Zsofia Kovács. And jolly well done to Aline Vries, the young French athlete, in her European Championship debut. It's easy to forget this is a European Championship debut for her when one considers she's done everything else. So Hungary's first medal of these European Championships of Artistic Gymnastics. They join Italy and Great Britain and Germany on the medal table, with France also making their maiden bow here in Munich. We'll tell you about the junior competition in due course, but let's remind ourselves of how it was that Zsofia Kovács did it again.
His